Six people watching. 7. Can everybody hear me? Yes, no? Can you let me know if you can hear me? Is that doable? "17 people. Evening, people. What's the sound like? Is the sound okay? A couple of thumbs up. Hi, Susie, thanks. Oh, cheers, Nick. Hi, Anna. 16. Oh, we're up to 19 now, Anna. Oh, cheers, everyone, thanks. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Angela. Hey up, Joe. Mark Walsh. I thought you were on holiday. Fair few. Oh, 20 people. So we'll just give it a few minutes, let people come in. Sorry about the quality of the video camera. It's a bit of a crappy laptop, but that's all we got. All right, Anna. Cheers, Kenny. A few thumbs up there. 21 people. Give it a few minutes. Hey up, Glenn. You all right, bud? So yeah, I've not really got any structure set out for this, really. Just been asked by a few people, quite a few people now, to obviously know about my past and history and things like that. And I've done a few talks to school kids and classes of schools about alcoholism, mental health issues that run along sort of parallel with addiction, if you like. So yeah, so we'll give it a go. See where we go. You know, if we can sort of point one person in the right direction, then we're on to a winner, I believe. But yeah, if you've got any questions or you want to leave a comment, obviously keyboard warriors, trolls need not apply. I just think it's a subject we need to, especially men, need to be more open about. Just talking in general, men anyway. Not that I'm being sexist, but women are good talkers. Men sort of tend to keep everything in. And I know there's people who are present here now who've got their own problems and just going through the list. I won't name names, but I know I spoke to some people recently privately on the phone about their problems, you know, and if I can help, you know, I'm more than happy to do so. So I think it'd be selfish of me not to share anyway, because ultimately I've been given tools that help me. You know, I understand we're all different, our situations are different. But if it, like I say, if it can help one person, then, you know, if we help 2 or 3 and we want to do this again, we'll do it again. I'm happy to do this whenever. You know, anybody wants to talk about it, I'm open to talk about it. I'm open to help anyone. Because I find it benefits me as well to keep talking about it, because I don't want anything to bottle up inside of me as well. So yeah, you could look at it selfish, that it's a double-edged sword. It's selfish if I don't do it. It's selfish for me doing it, really, because it is going to benefit myself as well. If I ever lose this video feed or anything like that, it's because I'm crap on a computer, and I do apologise. Hi, Margaret. You all right? Hey up, Jamie. Richard. Hi, Paula, Jason. Hey up, Linda, you all right? So yeah, so we're up to 28. So yeah, so what I was thinking, I'll give you a brief. I mean, a lot of you know me anyway, but there's some names there who I don't recognise, and obviously we've all got friends that may or may not need help, and if you've got information that you can pass on to your friends, then winner. But yeah, 31, that's good. That's good. So yeah, some of you may know me very well. Some of you just may know me through social media. Obviously, my name's Andy Oates. It's a good start, isn't it? But yeah, so I've, in a nutshell, so my background is I played football for 17, 18 years professionally. So had the tools, had the resources to accommodate my habit as it was then, known to be addiction. Obviously, at the time, you don't see these things creeping up on you. You're just having a good time, and friends are, you know, you keep people around you, and looking back, you see that some people weren't friends, they weren't helping you. You were using them to feed your habit, and they were using you for their entertainment. So I will be babbling on, but just tell me if I'm babbling on. Because it's a bit weird, this talking to a screen with no actual vocal sort of noises coming back at you, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so yeah, I spent, I think it's the best part of 18 years playing professional football. Again, had the resources, had the people around me, people who wanted to be around me, whether it was because I was a decent friend or I had the money to pay for them, if you like, or just have a good time. But it was there, and it was always there. And I had to finish through injury, and I mean, all the time I was playing football. You know, there's people in this chat now that I'd see on a daily basis while I was playing football, especially the Derby lot. There's some people from the northeast, and you know, I'd think nothing of turning up for training smashed out of my head. That was me. That was me then. My whole footballing career, if you like, I drank daily. To be honest with you, I did drink daily. You know, people are going to ask, what, night before a game and stuff like that. Yeah, because that was my routine. That's what I did. That was the life that I was accustomed to. Was I a good professional? No, it's terrible, shocking. Yeah, shocking. It would never happen now in the modern day game. But anyway, we're not here to talk about football. But so yeah, I had built a life for myself that revolved around drink. That's it, and it was great at the time because I had everything I needed. It was more so my daily routine at the time of playing football is you'd get up, you'd go training early, and then you'd be home by lunchtime. You'd have the rest of the day. So it could be, you could put it down to boredom, but I don't think it was boredom. I think it was just the cycle of the daily routine, and I knew I could have a drink and still function playing football because football came naturally to me. I didn't have to work at it. I was one of the lucky ones where I could do my job half cut, if you like. So that went on for a very long period of time, and when I finished playing football through injury, it was like, wow, this is great. Now I've got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to do what I like, in so many words. So everything escalated. Everything got out of hand. The drinking, when I finished playing and I had the time, I had the money, I would think nothing of, you go to shop, you buy 10 cans in the morning, they'd be gone by dinner, and then you think nothing of getting in your car and go and get more for the afternoon and the evening. Yeah, drink driving, regular basis. Not, I am ashamed to say, but I'm not going to hide that from you. That was part of my life. Yeah, put people's lives at risk, probably daily basis. But that's how it gets hold of you. That's the routine. That's the way your mind works, because your mind is always telling you what you need. You're sort of, it's got you, and it's, you think you can control it and you can't, because it's like nagging away at you all the time. It's making your body hurt because it's telling you that you need to put that into your body. Wow, 41 people. Oh no, someone's just left. There you go. But yeah, so your mind works against you all the time, and then you can sort of you can wake up in the morning full knowledge that you can do the same again as what you did yesterday, and no one's going to say out. And the lies that you tell are unbelievable. Like, looking back now, it's embarrassing. You tell lies just to, you're telling lies to your loved ones as well. That's the most hurtful thing. You're just trying to sculpture this life so you can get what your mind's telling you, what you need. By which time it's too far. It's gone. It's game over, in my opinion. Everything that I'm going to say is, firstly, the truth. Secondly, my opinion. And thirdly, if you don't like it, I don't care, because it's my opinion. So it's tough shit, really. But yeah, so we're going to go through this. If there's any kids watching, there will be bad language. Hi, Paul. Hi, Thomas. Simon. Hi, Tracy. So we've got, hi, Andrea. You're all right. Hey, Scott. Yeah, so then I spent a good number of years just after I finished football, that daily cycle of getting up, drinking, getting up, drinking. It got to the point where you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, soaking wet through with sweat, and your mind's telling you that you need to go and get a drink, and you do it. You go downstairs at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever time you wake up sweating, you go down and get a drink. And it's your mind working against you. It's like you think the drink's going to help you, and it's not. It will help you subconsciously, and your mind will keep telling you that, because that's what your body's used to. Your body starts hurting you, but it's your mind all the time that's telling you that you need these things to stop. The shakes are awful. You can't pick a brew up without spilling half of it. You can't put your hand out straight without shaking like mad. It's horrible, but that's the way it was. Hey up, Phil. Hey up, Nick. You all right? How's your knee? Hi, Emma. Who else we got? Amanda, Kirsty, Michael, Gary. Yeah, we've got a few. So yeah, and then it got to the point where I woke up one morning that the home life was shocking. You know, my twin daughters are, it's embarrassing to say it, but I'm going to say it. My twin daughters are 19 now. So I've been a father for I've been a dad, no, a father for 19 years, but I've only actually been dad for 4 years because, being brutally honest, it got in my way. And, you know, we've sat and spoke about this because they got in my way of the way of my habit. They got in the way of, or they were a distraction so I could get around doing what I wanted to do, what my mind was telling me that I needed to do. And it may sound horrible, but it's the truth. That was my thought process at the time. And no, now the girls are older, we've spoken about it, they understand it, they understand how it works. You know, they've educated themselves, fair play to them, they've educated themselves on the subject of alcoholism and addiction problems. Cheers, Louisa. Have a good evening with the girls. Hey up, Brett. Hi, Kathy. Up, John. But yeah, so that's the way it was. That you know, so my twins are 19 and I've been a dad for 4 years. That's the way I feel because I didn't want them part of my life because they got in my way of what I wanted to do. So again, the lies that I told, the stories I'd come up with just so I could get out and get what I needed or go to events. And I'd never drive. I would never drive because that was, if we were going out to a social event or just out for a meal or anything like that, it would never cross my mind to say, tell you what, love, you have a drink tonight. You have a good night. Don't worry about it. I'll drive. Never cross my mind. That's how selfish you become. It's all about you, your habit, and you getting smashed off your head. And you wouldn't even have a good time because you can't remember it. And you've probably made an absolute tit of yourself, or you've embarrassed the family in front of a packed restaurant or a packed pub. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. It's all about you getting what you need. So yeah, I've lost my way a bit here. So yeah, and then I woke up one morning and, you know, the marriage nearly in tatters. Wife threatening to kick me out left, right, and centre, threatening to walk out. Absolute, she couldn't bear the sight of me. I looked an absolute wreck. Lost all self-esteem, no, self-respect, should I say. Lost all, you know, wasn't bothered about my hair. Not that I've got much, like, wasn't bothered about it. Wasn't bothered about shaving. Wasn't bothered about how I looked. I mean, I'm not bothered anyway. Couldn't give a damn what people think of me or people think of the way I dress and all that. That's one skill set I have got. I couldn't give a shit what people think of me. And I think that's a talent which some people should have more of. But yeah, I just woke up one morning and just had enough. Just realized that, you know, I want to see my daughters get married. I want to grow old. I want to see grandkids. And I knew the way I sort of was going that the way I was going, it wasn't going to happen. You know, I was probably a couple of years away from dying, if I'm honest. Because while I was in that bad stage, I did have thoughts of ending it all. You know, I did have thoughts of just walking out the door and never coming back. I did have thoughts about ending my life. But that's, again, for me, that's how your mind works. That's how that's That's the depths that I think that's the depths you have to go to get out the other side. And sadly, some people don't make it out the other side. And to be honest, this is why I want to be so open about this, because look, I can go to a pub and not drink, and I wouldn't begrudge anybody having a drink. You know, each to their own. But I know there's some people out there that A, need help, and B, don't know where to go for help. So if this helps them in any way, then yeah, good. We can help them. And I know there's also some people in chat that have been where I've been and come out the other side. I'm not going to name names, but I know that they're lurking in the background, just watching and listening. But I know they could have an input in this as well. I know public speaking or whatever is not for everyone, but you know, maybe at some point, if we continue this on a regular basis, you know, people might feel better about contributing more. I don't know. So yeah, back to it. Anyway, I woke up one morning and I didn't even get out of bed. I sort of got the laptop, and I mean, I was lucky with playing football. For the non-footballing knowledgeables out there, whenever you sign professional football, you instantly become a lifelong member of the PFA, the Professional Footballers Association, which is the same as a works union, if you like. I don't know if unions still exist. Don't know, sorry. So I was and am in a lucky position like that. But I'll just scrap that. Hold that thought a second. I'll go back. When I first realised that I need to do something about it, I'll be honest with you, it took me. I made a phone call. I rang the GPs and made an appointment, and to be honest, right, the absolute amount of relief that I felt that I'd actually, firstly, admitted to myself that I've got a problem. Because you know, you can have people telling you, "Oh, you've got a drink problem. You've got a problem. You know, you need to calm it," but you don't listen, because when you're at that stage, you think, fucking nagging at me. You know, shut up. I'm fine. Because it's all about you. You don't care what people think about you. So it's like you're not bothered. Hey up, hang on. Sorry. Hey up, Stu. Yeah, you're not bothered at that point. You're just people talking to you. You're not listening because you're not asked what they say. Because, like I said, it's all about you, and they're just nagging you and getting on your nerves. So you don't listen. So the amount of weight off my shoulders when I actually managed to make an appointment with the GP, it felt great, and it felt a massive step forward. And then I sort of got a kick in the teeth a bit, because whether it's my GP, I don't know. I won't name his name, but I went to the GP. I sat there in the waiting room, I can remember it, and I was feeling great, and I was thinking, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is the start of a new life. This is all going to end. I'm going to get my life back on track and build a relationship with my family, and yeah, fantastic. And then I walked in there and started talking, and I can remember crying my eyes out. I thought, you've got to be honest. To anybody listening, watching, and honesty, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, because if you're not, then there's no point. If there's any slight doubt, you've got to, you know, you've got to throw all your street cred or whatever you call it. You've got to not care what people think about you. This is what you've got to do. You've got to just be completely honest with yourself and honest with everyone around you. Because if you're not, you're not even close to starting to turn your life around, if you like. You can't do that until you're open and honest, because people don't know what you're going through. They can guess, but they don't actually know what's going on in your head. And until they do know that, they can't help you. So yeah, I was sat in the GP's office, waiting room, feeling really great. Then got called in, went in. I remember I just broke down in tears, and I was telling him the truth and everything, how I felt, suicidal thoughts and things like that. And he handed me a leaflet and then opened the door for me. He said, "Oh, read that." And I've never felt so disappointed in all my life. I felt like talk about the highs and lows. That was the high from the waiting room to the door being opened in the GP's room. That low, and it was like, and everything just sort of, I felt like my whole life had crumbled. The disappointment that I felt is unbelievable, because I get it that we all have opinions, right? We all have opinions. We all have our own point of views. We've got 42 people here. We could have 42 people reading the same paragraph, and we'll all read it differently. And that's the way we look at life. I think we all see it differently. We all have different opinions. We all interpret information differently. We all digest information differently. And the stigmas around alcoholism, drug addiction, things like that is, I mean, the stats say, oh, it's coming down, stats, bullshit. It's still there in people's minds because we're all different. And some people categorize you. And we've all done it ourselves. You see somebody who looks like they're on drugs, and then you create your own opinion, or looks like they're an alcoholic. You see somebody kind of lager in your hand, you create your own opinion. And GPs are no different. I'll be honest with you, and I know we've got some health professionals in here. I'm not slating GPs. I'm not slating, our healthcare system. I'm just saying how this is my experience. And yeah, he just handed me this little shitty leaflet, and as if to say, and then he opened the door and looked out the door, then looked at me, then looked out the door, and I just thought, oh, shit, this is bad. So basically, I got left to my own devices. I mean, the sheet of paper, the leaflet that he gave me had all the Samaritans on it, had the AA email address, phone numbers, and things like that. But that's not what I needed. That's not what I wanted. I mean, I guess it would have been naive of me to think that I would have been fixed there and then, but at least it would have given me something to hold on to, if you know what I mean. But I felt emptier than when I actually walked in. So I'm just scrolling down a bit here. Yeah, so I experienced that, and that was heart-wrenching. I mean, like, we've got 42 people. You create your own. Some of you don't even know me, and that's fine. You create your own opinion. Some people will cross-reference me playing football with money and things like that. Do what you like. It's, you don't know me as a person. Not many people do, because I've been hiding things, and it's only these last 4 or 5 years that I'm actually me, and I feel like, I'm 42 now, and it, even when I was growing up, everybody did it. You know, there's a lot of local lads on there who we used to see downtown outside McDonald's on a Friday night, sipping bottles of Concord and MD 2020 and things like that. And you do that growing up, and you think, oh, it's great. But then you have to think of the bigger picture. You know, yeah, you're learning, but are you doing it because everyone else is doing it? Are you doing it because it's just a way of life? Is it to fit in? Is it to bring out your own confidence? And for me, that's where it starts. That's where it starts with you growing up. And I think the way society is going, it's only going to get worse. Again, it's my opinion. So if you disagree, that's fine. But everyone's entitled to an opinion. And, you know, if you've got an opinion here, am I right in saying everybody can see who's present and everybody can see who's commenting? Is that right? I can see it, obviously, but can you all see it? Yes, no? A thumbs up or a thumbs down or two? Not sure. But anyway, so yeah, so after being deflated by the GP, all right, cheers, thanks. Yeah, after being deflated by the GP, it's that's when I went to the PFA. I did speak to other healthcare workers, and they did give me more information, and they did give me great. But I just expected more on my GP. I don't know if rightly or wrongly of me. I don't know. But maybe that's the system. Maybe that's the doctor's feelings about alcoholism. It could be one of many things, but for me to go in there, open my heart out to him, and for him to just hand me a leaflet and look at the door as if to say, get out, you prick, then maybe I expected a little bit more. Oh yeah, cheers for that. It helps if I scroll down here, doesn't it? Because you're all commenting and I'm not keeping up. Sorry, I'm just crap on this. So yeah, I mean, luckily, we'll go back to the PFA. They helped me tremendously. As I say, you're a lifelong member, and I was fortunate enough to go. The PFA put me into private clinic. Now, because I was so bad, I went for an assessment and everything. You have to go for blood tests to see all your liver functions, your vital organ functions, because of the quantities that I was drinking. Now, in my worst point, I would drink anything if it contained alcohol. Just not my best aftershave. But anything that was in the house or I could get in the house, I was drinking. Because I used to, for those of you who grew up with, I just used to drink lager, just lager. And by the end, I was drinking all sorts of shit. Literally anything just to keep me going. So, but yeah, so I went for assessments, went for blood tests, liver functions, all your vital organs and things like that. And it's a clinic set up by Tony Adams. Some of you may know Tony Adams used to play for England, Arsenal, centre half. He set up he set up Sporting Chance, which is funded by the PFA and other private sponsors and things like that. It's some of you have probably heard it in the news. Paul Gascoigne's been there 4 times. Paul Merson's been there. There's a lot of, but it's not just for footballers, it's for sports professionals in general. So I went down there. It's down in Portsmouth, but because of the quantities I was consuming, daughter's 21's just sneaking past. For the quantities I was consuming, I had to be what's the words I'm looking for? Medically, clinically supervised. So I had to have injections every day for 6 days, injections, tablets, 24-hour supervision, and I mean supervision. And it was, yeah, it was bad. I can remember having 2 or 3 episodes. Just let me check if her name's in here. I can't see. No, so the Sporting Chance Clinic, it only had 4 people in. 4 people, 4 either existing sports professionals or retired sports professionals, only 4. And that's for any professional sport. When I was there was 3 of us who were footballers. Obviously, I'm not going to name names, and a rugby league player. And yeah, so we spent 6 days in the clinic. The medical clinic I went in for the first week was in Weston-super-Mare. Now there's quite a few, to my knowledge, there's quite a few rehabilitation clinics down there, but this was a private one that's built onto a NHS one. So I remember having 2 or 3 episodes where collapsed, had to be restrained. I think my heart stopped once. Obviously, I don't recall this because I was out of it. Don't recall much of it, to be honest. I can just remember it being so painful. Your body's aching and your mind's racing, and I remember having to be strapped to bed and things like that. Not nice, but that's what was needed, and that's the type of service that I got, which is fantastic. It was exactly what I needed, and I can't thank them enough, and I do thank them on a regular basis. I was just checking if there's a couple of names in here who were with me. One's gone. So yeah, and then I went on to the 5-week accommodation in Portsmouth, where you do your therapy classes, and you live to learn again. Learn to live again. Sorry, one-on-one therapy, group therapy, and things like that, and you sort of you get taught the tools. You get shown all the information that because I say, some of you may recall me saying mental illness. Well, addiction is a mental illness. Some of you may disagree. That's fine. But when your mind is telling you that your body needs something, I've had this discussion / argument with quite a few people, because their belief is, who aren't and will never have been in my position, their belief is that addiction, or alcoholism and addiction, is a choice, not an illness, which is fine. People, as I say, people have their own beliefs. But if it's your mind, if it's your own mind telling you that your body needs something, then in my eyes, that's, and medically as well, it's classed as a mental illness. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought where I was going. Yeah, so we'd have these, we'd have one-on-one sessions with counsellors, we'd have group sessions, we'd have little team building exercises, and you get taught how to, as I say, live again and function as a, I'm going to do that, I know it's annoying, a normal person, and you get given the tools how to cope in certain situations. You get advised not to go into wet places, i.e. pubs, restaurants, until you feel comfortable. Now, it's hard. That is hard, because I mean, I only last Sunday went out for a meal with family, and yeah, it was a pub down in Whitchurch, on the way to Whitchurch, and yeah, and I'm coming up to 4 years dry now, but I still had to go to the toilet. I didn't need the toilet, but I still. Everybody else was drinking, not heavily, going stupid, but you know, the sun was beautiful. We had a nice meal. We were sat in the beer garden. The rest of the party were having a drink, but even being 4 years dry, nearly 4 years dry, I still needed to go to the toilet, not to use the toilet, just to give myself 5 minutes and sort of recharge my batteries and recharge my trail of thought. And I still need that every day, every single day. It's like my target every day. Sorry if I'm going off here, there, and everywhere. I've just got so much to sort of tell you, and I keep losing track where I'm up to. So every day, the battle that I face is my aim is to get my head on my pillow at the end of that day without having a drink. And even now, nearly 4 years on, having a drink is probably the first thing you think in the morning and the last thing you think at night. Now, some people may think bollocks or hard to believe, but trust me, it is. And you ask anybody in my position, they'll tell you the same thing. And I know there's a couple of people, there's more than a couple of people that are recovering. Yeah, there is. We've got 4 that I know of, 4 people in chat who are recovering, some more than me, some less than me, who will tell you that that it's still the first thing on the mind every day and the last thing on the mind when you go to bed at night. And it's so, I honestly, it's something that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, because it just eats away at you, and it just keeps going. It's relentless. It just won't stop. And it's your mind. It's you think you can control your body, you control your mind, but honestly, until you've been there, until you've experienced it, you ain't got a clue. You haven't got a clue at all. I mean, again, people have their own opinions and things like that, but if you think I'm wrong, then bollocks, you're wrong. If you can experience it for a day, then great. And then you would tell me that I'm right. And your opinions would change, and the way you view people would change. But until people can experience that. Now, there's a difference between what I'm going to say, that's, you can be directly affected by it or indirectly affected by it. Now, what I mean is, if you're directly affected by it, that means you're involved with it, you're experiencing it. If you're indirectly involved in alcoholism or mental illness, then that means you know of somebody who's experiencing that. And yeah, they're a million miles apart. You can't. Until that person realizes they have a problem, you can't help them. As hopeless as you may seem, as you may feel, until that person, that loved one, that friend, that neighbor, until they realize that, and they're honest with themselves, and they realize that, yeah, they've got a problem, you can't actually help them, because if it's alcohol, obviously I've not been addicted to drugs. With alcohol, I can only vouch for that. And it's like, if somebody goes on at you, or if somebody says, stop drinking, you're drinking too much, you've got a problem, the first thing you want to say is, shut the fuck up, because you want to continue your life. You want to continue what you're doing. You just feel like people are nagging at you all the time. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Well, thanks, Anna. Cheers, Debbie. So yeah, so I spent 5 weeks in. It's called. Have a look at it. It's brilliant. I mean, it's called Chantilly House. If you go on the PFA website and look, there's a tab on there, Sporting Chance, and it's great. But sadly, it's not available. Well, it is available to the general public, but it's like something like $4,000 a week. And the PFA, I was lucky enough that my union that I joined, they funded that. But I don't want anybody to feel disheartened, because there are places available locally that can help. I mean, when I came back from Portsmouth, I was going to 3 AA sessions a week, one in Winsford, one in Sandy Way, and one in Sandbach. And to be honest, they were brilliant, and the people there were real. They were just like you. They were recovering alcoholics. There was nobody there who wasn't an alcoholic. I mean, once you're an alcoholic, you're alcoholic for life. But there was nobody there who would. You were all the same. There was nobody there to judge you, and there was nobody there who, nobody there who would judge you. Nobody there who would be like, "Oh, look at these mobbies, the alkies are out like that." You were all on the same level. There was nobody who was better than anybody else. There was nobody who was better than anybody else because they'd been sober longer. There's nobody who was, but there was people there who were going there because they'd feel weak, or they'd have an off day, or they were going there for reassurance, or they were going there for words of guidance, and it's brilliant. And they're all really caring. You're like a family. And to be honest, I knew a lot of people there, and if you ever had to go to an AA meeting or anything like that, you would know people there, because they're all just local people who you probably see once, twice a week. And there's like an unwritten rule where you don't acknowledge each other in the street, or you don't tell people where you know people from, because it's private, and it is private. I can understand. It's a sort of unwritten rule. But on the flip side of that, I mean, I stopped going to the Winsford one because, selfishly or not, I don't know, but there was one person who would attend the meetings, and literally he would come out of the pub, go to the meeting, and then go straight back. It'd be smashed and go back in the pub. And I found that I didn't feel like that helped me for my recovery. That just annoyed me, because it interrupted. He was pissed out of his head, and that obviously needing help and not getting it, or not wanting it. Maybe it was. I mean, the people there who ran or still run Winsford say, it's like that every week, and he uses the AA as a time out to just have like an hour out of his drinking. But for me, you can't turn anybody away. The AA can't turn anybody away. But I think that's one of the structures, the rules that they've got to maybe implement, because it's putting the people who are really trying off. I feel like, am I blabbering a bit? I feel like I'm blabbering a bit. I feel like I'm going a bit on and on. So yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't go to AA meetings now, because I feel I've got the structure in my life that I don't need to go. I know they're there if I need them, and then they know I'm here if they want me to talk, as I'm doing to you now. If they want me to talk, they know where I am. But at this present time in my life, I feel like I'm in control. But that's today. So tomorrow's different. That's where I am today in my life. But I know tomorrow's a different battle. Yeah, you're right, Paul. Yeah. See, the problem is we don't talk about it. There's a lot of stigma around things. There's a lot of stigma around these issues because you do get categorized. People associate alcoholism, drug abuse with unemployment, antisocial behavior, and things like that. Now, it's wrong of us, but we've probably all done it in one way, shape, or form because we all form this picture in our head. You know, we all do it, whether we mean to or not. It's what we do. But so yeah, so where am I in my life now? So every day is a different battle, and it's a challenge that I accept and I take on wholeheartedly. I take it really serious because I know if I have another drink, that could be the end. Could be, might not. You know, could I go and have a drink now and then stop? I don't know. Is the answer. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to, and I will not try it out. Try that theory out, if you like. You know, the sayings there. You know, when you're alcoholic for life, and yeah, I believe that. But now I've got this nice little word, recovering, in front of it, which hopefully I can keep for the rest of my life. But yeah, Chris, Chris in chat, never be afraid. Ask somebody if is all right. If somebody is all right, yeah. But we don't, though, do we? We don't. You know, put yourselves in a position where you were today, and how many times have you offered somebody help? How many times have you thought, oh, they don't look right? We don't talk, though. That's the thing. Or how many times have you felt like you needed to chat to someone and you haven't because you don't know how to approach it, or you don't know how a person would take to your questions or your conversation. The problem is, in my opinion, we just don't talk. And there is help available. It's like, for me, there's two things. It's knowing where to ask and knowing how to ask. There's no good somebody going in pissed up or drugged up demanding that they get help, because people won't help you. You know, if you go in aggressively, and you're not going to get the help. If you go in and, you know, and ask questions, it's about, is it about asking the right questions? I don't know. You just need to ask. Met plenty of people. So I'm just reading this. Excuse me. Labeled with just around. Yeah, so encourage conversation. Yeah, it's about asking the right people. I mean, I've told you about my experience with my GP, ex-GP now, and I'm pretty sure every GP isn't like that. You know, GPs have opinions like everybody. They're human. You know, just ask. It's better to ask and not get an answer than to not ask at all, I believe. You know, and if somebody says no, don't be afraid of asking why. You know, somebody might be saying no because that's what the computer says. You know, but just ask why. Until you know why you can have something or can't have something, the help that you require, you're never going to understand. It's not being rude, it's not being disrespectful, but you as a person, to be able to move forward beyond that actual point that you are now, you need to understand why you can or can't have help at that moment in time. And a couple of thumbs up there. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense. It sounded like it made sense, but you know what I mean? To enable yourself to digest that information, you need to understand why. Or else, for me personally, you can't progress beyond that stage. But so yeah, so as I was saying, every day, I find it exciting. Not gonna lie to you, but I do have my down days. You know, we all do. We're all human. We have bad days. I mean, I like the structure in my life now. I read this book. Obviously, it's going to be back to front. Some of you, no, it's not. I read this every day, and it was given to me in rehab, and it's got like, it's dated and it's got daily passages. Some of you might have seen them. You know, and to be honest, some daily passages might have no meaning whatsoever. But then, like tomorrow's passage or yesterday's passage, it'll say something and you connect with it straight away. And that feeling when you connect with it and you understand it, you know, sometimes these passages take 2 or 3 readings. But anyway, that book's available on Amazon, and I find, see, I start my day with, my alarm goes off at 6, come downstairs, kettle on, go for a fag, and then I sit with my brew and read my book. And literally, it's just a little passage, and I find that it, you know, like, where are we? You know, it's not. It's just that. Well, that's today's. That, and I find that sets me up for the day. That gets my thought process right. That channels my mind and helps me get through the day. But then obviously certain things happen during the day, which can change your thought process and can change your feelings. And it's like feelings are a massive thing, you know, disappointment, fear, anger, you know, you can, but what you have to keep telling yourself is feelings can be changed. You know, feelings are feelings. You can change feelings by the way you think, but you've got to be able to channel your mind to think differently. Your mind, honestly, right? Your mind will happily, it'll be delighted to work against you because you keep allowing it. It's like if you keep thinking to yourself that you're ill, you're going to end up feeling ill. You know, if you won't have the feelings, but you're going to feel shit. If you know, try it. You keep thinking something for so long, you're going to feel that, and it's just the way that your mind works. It's an amazing thing, but it's not your friend. You've got to be able to use it. You've got to be able to control it, because it can work against you dramatically, and it can be the end of you at some point. We've got some late arrivals. Hey up, Andy, Steve, Matthew, Mark, Portia. But yeah, so as I say, everyday struggles. I've been an hour already. I went quick. Everyday struggles, yeah, just general life struggles that I'm sure everybody everybody experiences. For, you know, it can be exaggerated for a recovering alcoholic or a recovering drug addict. It's just the way, I guess, we're different, but we're not. It's about, we fight different battles throughout the day, you know. And it's I'm not gonna lie to you, it's fucking hard. It is hard. But I find it. See, I'm up for a challenge. I love a challenge, and I love proving people wrong, because anybody, I know there's people out there who know me and what I'm going through, and I know there's people out there that would love me to fail. And I know there are, and I could name them, but I won't, because as a race, if you like, people thrive off other people's failures, but they're not quick to pat them on the back when they're doing well. It's just society. That's the way the world's gone, in my opinion. You know, take this Facebook lark. You know, everybody's got the best life in the world, but then as soon as something goes tits up, everybody jumps all over it like a rash. And then that's, people like seeing people fail. It's human nature, I believe. But yeah, so do we have any questions? I've had some private messages. Phone calls set up tomorrow. I've got 2 phone calls set up tomorrow. People who couldn't make tonight who would like to discuss privately. But if anybody would like to ask any questions, you know, even if it's for a family member or a friend, it's like, you've got to be careful with friends as well, because although, you know, you could know somebody for years and you could be out with them every weekend, and it's like, you've got to be careful you're not their source of entertainment. You know, if you're the type of person, as I say, I don't begrudge anybody having a drink and a good time, but if you're the type of person who gets smashed every time they go out, and people are plying you with ale, and then they're stood there egging you on, then they're not your friends, in my opinion. They're using you as your entertainment, and before you know it, they keep plying you with ale. You're going to end up just like me, if not worse. So again, this is all my opinion. You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. But, you know, I'm not anti-drinking. I'm quite happily go out the pub, but people have to respect that sometimes I need my own space as well. You know, I need 5 minutes. You know, last New Year or New Year before, I spent 6 hours in the local pub, and that, God, I found that hard. You know, you picture yourself 6 hours, New Year's Eve, in a local pub, wall to wall pissed up people, and you're drinking coffee. I loved the conversation that night. You know, you can't understand what a word people are saying. Yeah, I couldn't wait for them bells to ring, get home, get in bed. But hey ho. So yeah, we've only got 24 people in now. That's a good start. We got up to 42. So we had 42 people present at one point, down to 26. Someone's come back, they've just been to the toilet. 27, they've just been for a fag. 28, bloody hell. Right, so yeah, I mean, if anyone's got any questions, there are in chat. I don't know if anybody wants to make themselves known. I know them, but we do have some adult education officers, and we do have a couple of healthcare professionals. I will leave it up to you if you want to make yourself known, or if anybody wants to contact me privately, they can do on here. Just send me a messenger. I'll quite happily talk to anybody or meet up for coffee with anybody if they want help. If I can help you, I've got no problems in coming to help you. That's fine with me. It'd be my pleasure, to be honest. Like I say, going in and giving a talk to the school kids, you know, unruly school kids, as one might put it, just to make them aware of the pitfalls that they're gonna face. Because I believe some of the parents were struggling as well, and you know, they all listened and they took it in, but you just know it's going to be hard for some of them, you know. But again, society today is going to dictate which way they go, I think. But at the end of the day, we all have choices, don't we? Some things we have choices on, other things we don't have a choice on because your mind is not giving you that choice. You don't see any other choice. It's clouding your view, it's clouding your judgment, and you can't go forward because you can't see a way forward. Hi Claire, hi Katie, hey up Chris, hi Stephen, hey up Bubbles. So yeah, so we've been on an hour and 7 minutes. I can keep going all night, I don't care. It's my have to have a fag break. Hey up Spike, hey Billy. But yeah, so if anybody has any questions and they don't want to ask the questions on here, because obviously people can see comments, people can see who's on. If you want to message me privately, if you want to message me your number and I'll give you a ring, more than willing to do that. As I say, we have got some health professionals in chat. Sorry, just reading this. Hi, so can you explain the aftercare medication that you meditate? Yeah, so Anna there, can you all read Anna's question there? Aftercare. So the aftercare that I received, I've always got two therapists on the end of the phone, 24 hours a day, should I need to speak to anyone. Now, I don't know if that service is offered on the NHS, but I know the Samaritans, I've spoken to the Samaritans before in the past. And I know that there's always somebody there to listen. Personally, with the private care that I got, which I know it's different, and I'm sorry, but that's just what was available to me. I know sadly it's not available to everyone. So I know I've got two therapists that are on the end of the phone 24 hours a day should I feel the need to speak to somebody. Again, don't know if it's available, that service is available. The Samaritans are there, and if anybody does go to AA meetings, I'm sure you'll make friends there that, you know, you do swap numbers and you do talk and you do speak to each other outside the AA, and you know, you do build relationships like that. So you always look. We find it with situations like this. I found it difficult to speak to family members or friends, and I don't know if it was through embarrassment or I'm not one for talking anyway about feelings, which most males in this chat will probably agree with. None of them are. You know, men don't really talk about it, which needs to change, because otherwise, you know, people are going to struggle. We all need to be honest. And I'm not sat here in the kitchen preaching, talking all bullshit. It's just, you know, if we don't start talking, then people's individual situation's going to get worse. So let me just, Jim, I'll come to you in a sec, mate. I'll just go back to Anna. So coping strategies, yeah. So obviously, so you in certain situations, I feel real anxious and nauseous, and you know, I got given breathing exercises to do, sort of relaxation and thought processes to go through. Now, again, different places may offer that. It's hard to explain. So I'll try. So yeah, just slowing your breathing down. Just, you know, when you get all anxious and stressed and feel like you're gonna have a panic attack, it's a bit, I would imagine, it's a bit like somebody having an asthma attack. You get yourself all wound up, het up, and you just get given breathing exercises to do that slow, you know, because the oxygen intake can be too much, and then, you know, you can collapse, or you're not, because you're taking shallow breaths, you're not taking in enough oxygen. It's just a way of trying to slow your breathing down so you get enough oxygen in to calm everything down. I mean, I was taught to try and slow my breathing down as if I was trying to go to sleep, regardless of the situation. I've changed my thought process that, you know, we were told, you know, find a happy place in your head, memories, anything, something you've got to look forward to. Get that running through your head as quick as you can, and in conjunction with that, try and slow your breathing down as if you're going to sleep. You know, deep breaths to start off with, and then smaller breaths as if you're trying to go to sleep. And it worked for me. I'll be honest with you, they gave us 4 or 5 exercises, breathing exercises to do, and I've forgotten the others because I just held on to that one. I found that one worked for me, so I latched onto that one and just, is that the right word? Disregarded the others because I didn't even try them, because I'd found what worked for me. And you know, we're all different, and different things are going to work for different people. So I'm just reading another. Oh, hang on. How do you reward getting over current cravings? What do you mean, Anna? Sorry. How do you reward getting over current cravings? Do you mean, do I like reward myself with anything? I don't understand that. Am I reading that thick, or? I mean, so people in my situation, what's common as addictive tendencies. So once if you're lucky enough to be in the position I am now, where you've spent so many years dry, you've got to be careful, and you know, you are educated about this. You've got to be careful, because you might latch onto something else because you've got those addictive tendencies. I mean, anybody who knows me close, or some people on here who I've worked for or have worked with me, I love Diet Coke now. I drink can after can of Diet Coke, and bottles of water, to be fair. So I don't know, but maybe I've swapped that can of Carling for a can of Diet Coke. I don't know. But what people with addictive tendencies have to do is be careful they don't subconsciously latch onto something else. Does that make sense? I love my jelly sweets, my Haribos, and you know, sweet stuff. But then when you look at it, am I just swapping out that alcohol for anything sweet, for the sugar content? I don't know. Maybe subconsciously, it's that sugar intent that I'm craving. So I instead of having the alcohol and the sugars in that, I'm getting it through sweets and chocolate and shit like that. I don't know, but I know I prefer. Is that what you're meaning, Anna? Is that how I reward myself? I mean, I don't like reward. I don't actually give myself a reward. I sort of maybe I always drink, like in my van. I've always got 20 odd cans of Diet Coke and a case of water and sweets, chocolate all over the place, and I just drink, eat, because I'm athletically built. Some people would say skinny. I'd say athletically built. My metabolism's great. See, if when I was drinking, I'd lose weight. Like going on holiday, if we went anywhere all inclusive for 2 weeks, I would go absolute wild and lose weight, just pure drinking. Because my metabolism, like all through my playing football career, even to this day, I did a health check at the pharmacy today, 12 stone 7. I've always been 12 stone 7 since I was 21, and I'm still 12 stone 7 today. But I would lose weight if I was drinking. And when I got really bad, up to the point where I was, I'm 6'3". Apparently, the computer tells me today I'm normal. I'm at ideal weight. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm 6'3". I'm 12 stone 7. But when it got to the point where it was really bad, I was down to just over 10 stone because I wasn't eating. I was just purely drinking, and that was that. Yes, answered really well. Is that all right, Anna? I am about. Yeah. So Anna Dutton, who's in chat, she's adult education trainer. So if you've got any questions that Anna might be able to help you with, because I think Anna might be able. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anna. Would you be able to also point people in the right direction should they require help? Obviously, I can as well, but Anna might be another outlet for people. Are the other people still in here? No, they've gone. Well, cheers for that. But yeah, so does anybody else have any more questions before we wrap this up? Without a 14, I don't mind waiting until everybody wants to leave. I can talk all night. It's purely up to you guys. If anyone wants to stay on for a chat. What I don't want people to do is feel embarrassed asking a question, thinking that everybody else can see their question and assume that they have a problem. Honestly, if anybody's got a question that they want to ask and they want to ask in private, just send me a message along with your phone number, and I'll give you a ring. That's not a problem. Or we can organise a time that's convenient or a day that's convenient. We can meet up, have a coffee, have a chat. I'd be more than welcome to do that. If you're concerned about a family member, friend, husband, wife, mistress, anything, I'm here to help. And obviously, with me being given what I feel are great tools to work with, I'd like to share and help people as well. It's not only helping people, but I think it's also helping me to continue to talk about this, so I don't bottle anything up. So it's a win-win in my eyes. Barry, good on you. Oh, thanks, Barry. Cheers, bud. Cheers, Dusty. How are you? You all right, pal? You need to hang up the boots, Dusty. You're too old now, mate. So yeah, so if anybody has got any questions for Anna, she's the only person in here who I know. There was two other medical people in here earlier on, but I know one of them was going to look in whilst at work. So none of them on now, but you know, I'm sure if we do this again, we can get them back in. And so yeah, so if you look, so Anna's there as well. If anybody, you know, Anna's got referral methods there, you know, but if you're in a position where you think you need help and you need to talk to somebody, you have to log it with your GP. It's in your best interest if your GP knows everything you're going through. And don't go there and hide your feelings and not tell them everything. Go there and blurt your eyes out, because you've got to be so honest, because until you're honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with your GP. You know, there's no point in you going there and saying, you know, you could drink 20 cans of whatever a day, but there's no point in you going there and saying you only drink 7 or 8, because you're lying. You're lying again, and you'll continue to lie until you're honest with yourself, because that's what we do. You know, and you're always going to be lying until you address and front the problem, the situation, you know, the whereabouts you are in your life at the moment. You need honesty is the key. To enable the professionals to get you the best help that's available, you've got to be like an open book. It's in your own best interest, to be honest, as well. Say everything you can in your appointment. Yeah, I agree, Anna. You know, my experience with the GP, as I said, you were there from the start, and you know, it was so disappointing. But like I say, not every GP is the same. But you know, it's look at if you need to go and see your GP, look at it at the start of a new way forward for you. You've got to start being honest, because if you continue to lie to people, it's going to be, you know, there's no point. You're just wasting space that somebody else could be using. Honesty is the best key. Hey, Keith. All right, Spud. Hi, Dominic. Hi, Paul. Hi, Jonathan. Right, so we've still got 15. So anybody, any more questions? As I say, the healthcare professionals have left. One was at work, so she may have been called away, and the other one, I'm not sure what's happened to him. We've got Anna here, who's adult education, who can also offer advice, and obviously I can point you in the right direction as well, should you have any questions for yourselves or regarding friends or family. But I don't mind doing this again. You know, if people, you know, the more feedback I get off this, you know, the more questions I get off yourselves, you know, the longer this will go on. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about it. It's not me bigging myself up or anything like that. It's just sharing what I've been through with the hope that it can help you, you or whoever you're concerned for. But yeah, so we've been going exactly an hour and 25 minutes. That's flown, hasn't it? Thanks, Caroline. Hey up, Jono. Hi, Paul. Hi, Karen. So yeah, so any questions, anyone? Any questions? Any questions? Check my phone. Sorry. Bear with. Oh, I've got a couple of questions on Messenger, but they wish to remain private, so we'll keep them private. Maybe if we do this again, they're good questions actually. If we do this again, but I can't answer them without naming, or if we do this again, I'll sort of try and address the questions without the names that are involved. Is that Diane? Hi Diane, enjoy watching. Thank you. I have a customer I believe is drinking and has called me 40 times in the last 3 weeks asking him when his appointment is. No idea how or what to say to him if he actually turns up. That's a tough one, Sarah, because it's, you know, is his state of mind confused? You obviously, you're in close proximity to him when he's there for what your trade is. Is he always there smelling a drink? He might not see it as a problem. You obviously do. He might fancy you, Sarah, if he's ringing 40 times. You never know. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, that, without actually knowing the ins and outs, because he might be in a confused state of mind. How would you go about it? I guess you'd need to find out more information while speaking to him about what he does during the day and things like that. It's a tough one because ultimately you're providing the service that he's paying for. So I should imagine there's a fine line between sort of being nosy and taking an interest. I don't know if I'm right or wrong there. It's a tough one, that, Sarah. I think sort of I think you'd have to build a rapport. I mean, if you're concerned about him, I guess you could. I don't know if you could find out if he's got family members, just through general conversation. I mean, for him to call you like 40 times, that may suggest he either just likes talking to you or is in a confused state of mind. Because if you think he's drinking, say he rang yesterday and he gets himself absolutely paralytic and rings again tomorrow, then he may not recall ringing yesterday. It's a tough one. I think you'd have to find out a bit more about the actual character first. Maybe build a bit of rapport. And if you do have concerns about him, try and, I don't know if you're able to do, but try and discuss family members or research if he's on social media, see if he's got any family members on social media. It's a tough one. It's that boundary between customer and client, isn't it? That, yeah, I can understand that you're concerned, but I just think that's difficult. I think maybe a bit more research needs to be done without you. You always choose gum. Yeah, see, that's a common. So it might be the case that, so he's sort of obviously drinking on a daily basis, or every time it's wrong to assume, but if he's ringing 40 times in the space of however many weeks, then I'd definitely say, but I don't know, is it, it's a fine line between that customer client. You see, yeah, you can have care, you can have concern, but you don't want to, if you have that concern for him, you don't want to be in a position where you approach the subject, but you end up pushing him away and then he might feel that he's got nowhere to go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. If you want to give me a ring, Sarah, or message me on Messenger, and then I can give you a ring tomorrow or something and have a proper chat, because it's hard just to go off the message and without the, you know, a bit more information. But give us a message later on or something. He's called my mobile so many times. It's 15 years. His wife died. See, so there's a theme, there's a pattern, isn't there? It might be, you know, if you've been doing it for 15 years, Sarah, then you've obviously got that rapport, and he's got that. He must feel that comfort with you as well. And if he's lost his wife of alcoholism last year, then perhaps you're his next port of call for that communication, that comfort, you know, that comforting voice, or that, you know, that female interaction, if you like, through simple thing like cutting his hair. You know what I mean? It's something simple like that could be. I've asked family, oh, don't speak to him now. So that'll be the condition, that either they forced him away, or he's forced himself away from that to give himself the space to be able to continue what he's doing. And if his wife, you know, his wife died last year, then he's not got that partner in crime, if you like. So, you know, if you've been cutting his hair for 15 years, you might just be and it's been you that does it all the time, or another female colleague. It might be that female interaction that is missing after losing his wife. And it's a tough one, that. But if speak to yeah. But then, you know, ultimately, yeah, you can show care and concern. Yeah, you can show care. I don't know how to say. It's a fine line between customer and client, between providing a service and overstepping the line, if you like, for that service. In my opinion, could be wrong. I think it'd be a case of getting to. It's how you feel about him, you know, if he's freaking you out or something like that. Because if you got to know him better, spoke to him more, you know, could you guide him? Don't know. Or it's a tough one. But if you want to message me, Sarah, and we'll have a chat about it, because it's a bit. I don't know. It is a tough one, that, because there is that customer client boundary, if you like. Cheers, Martin. Hey up, Matty. Hey up, Thomas. Hey up, Chris. Hi, Scott. Hi, Joanne. Sorry, I'm just going back. Can you see how it's been a family member who flat out banged his head? It's just the fact it was an alcohol. Totally different sense of. Yeah, you see, Kenny, are you still in here, Kenny? Yeah, that's where honesty is key, because if you have an accident or anything like that, Kenny, and you need to go to hospital or anything like that, and they don't know that somebody is an alcoholic or is suffering from alcoholism, then they could give you the person complete wrong treatment and medication that could be doing them more damage than good. So that, you know, honesty is the best key. A lot of people are ashamed to say they're alcoholic because of the stigma around it, and they're scared of what people will think about them. That's one of the massive boundaries. You know, you've got to be pretty thick-skinned, and you've got to expect to take that criticism, not criticism. That you've got to accept that people may form an opinion about you, but the sooner a person has been honest with themselves and branded themselves or accepted the fact that they are an alcoholic. If somebody says they're a functional alcoholic, that's bullshit. You can't be a functional alcoholic. You know, until somebody accepts the fact that they are an alcoholic and they do, you know, they're always gonna lie. They're always gonna lie because they lie to get people to think of them differently, and they lie to get what they want to enable them to have another drink. You may be the first person he speaks to each month. Yeah, so Sarah, look at Anna. Anna's educated in this department as well, from a health and adult education point of view. If you pair want to get together and have a chat, I'm sure you can sort of link up on here or off here. But yeah, get your heads together and have a little chat and see what you come up with. Because I'm not sure of that one, because of the actual scenario that it is, I'm not sure of how a customer and what is it, client, customer, how close that boundary is, you know, is it too far? But yeah, Anna, if you can help Sarah out, that'd be great. Hi Chris, hi Nigel, hi Sarah, hi Steve. You're only an hour and 37 minutes late, but hi Nikki. Oh, Nick and Paul, sorry. But yeah, so we're down to 15 people, but I'm happy to keep going if you are. Right, yeah, how you doing, bud? Hi Lee. Nail gun still works, mate. Cheers for selling that to me. So yeah, so in regards of getting help, I was explaining earlier to the people who've just joined, I had a nightmare. Well, first of all, it's hard enough accepting and being honest with yourself that you do have, or you are, an alcoholic. I had a nightmare experience with my GP, who literally, I felt so relieved to be sat in their waiting room because I'd built up the courage. But first of all, I'd accepted who I was, and I built up the courage and actually made appointment. I've made positive steps forward to get an appointment. But the response from the GP I got was it was damaging, and it hurt me so much. I left the GP I left with a leaflet and shattered dreams. But as I say, all GPs are differently, and they're human. They've got a hard job. Don't get me wrong. They've got a hard job, and you know, some people do see alcoholism and other addictions as a choice. When, yeah, initially they are a choice, but then they become a mental illness, and that's fact. If all you Facebook warriors want to argue with me. Sorry, what's that, Chris? Denzel watches a film where he's an alky. Watch it. Is that where he's a pilot as well, Chris? Am I thinking a different one? Is that where he flies that plane upside down? Oh, thumbs up, yeah. Yeah, great film, that. and it portrays. You know, there's some great films out there. You know, whoever does the research in films about alcoholics and things like that, some of them are shocking, absolutely embarrassment, but some are so right, it's unbelievable. The way they manufacture their own little escape tunnels in their own little heads and things like that, you know. And that's what I was doing. I was concocting stories and lying to everyone and coming up with these little fantasy stories that would paint me in a better picture and get me to the place where I wanted to be, to enable me to do what I wanted to do, which was drink. Hey up, Balls. You all right, bud? You still spending all your cash? Hi, Ken. Okay, but yeah, well done, Chris. All right, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, great film, mate. Chris, well done, bud. Hi, Linda. You're welcome. Hope everyone's all right. Love to the family. I'll message you later, Linda. Okay, brilliant. So has anybody got any general questions, or has anybody got out any jokes? So let's lighten the mood a bit. It's quite depressing, really. No jokes. But yeah, no, seriously, I'm available on Facebook. If anybody has any concerns for friends or family, or just wants advice, you know, it doesn't have to be about yourselves. You know, you're more than welcome if you think you've got a problem or a family member or anything, or any smallest thing at all, any time of the day, just send me a message. And I'll try and help you and point you in the right direction the best I can. You know, I'll speak honestly and openly, like I have done tonight, about the experiences I've gone through. And if I can point you, if I can help in any way, shape, or form, I will do so. It's more important that we get people talking, and we, if we talk about these things, then Danny, shut up, mate. I was only joking. If we talk about these things, then people, they become more open and more. The more they're spoken about, then the more freely people will come out of their shells. And nobody wants to talk about themselves in a bad way, which is what would happen. I know I've done it, I've lived it. You know, people on the outside looking in see alcoholism as a choice, and they make their own opinions about you even before you know that they've made an opinion or they know anything about you. But deep inside your head, that you're probably scared, embarrassed, ashamed, all the above feelings, but you probably don't give a fuck because you're in it for yourself and you're too far gone where you need help. Is that all right, Sarah? Is Anna sorted you out there? Good. Not funny, Kenny. But yeah. No, it's football's changed now, Kenny. You know yourself. You're not daft. You're a modern day supporter and organizer for the Everton branch. My sort of era of football, it was the last. It was the last breed of footballers who drank, if you like. There's so much money involved now, and there's so much to lose and to gain from a little thing like 3 points, that if you have a sniff of alcohol, then you're not going to make it. It's like I went to Ellesmere Port School. I was asked by an old school friend who's in the same year as me at Hertford. She's a head of year and she's a teacher at Ellesmere Port. I did a chat for the lads there. 3 of the lads all had all were on books of professional football clubs. All were training with, like, you know, it's before they go into apprenticeship, whatever it is now, academy. God, I sound old. So before they go into academy, that's the next step up. And, you know, we were discussing my life growing up, and I said, you know, we used to love go and get shit-faced downtown on a Friday night. And they all agreed. So I went round all of them, because there was 20 odd of them. I went round all of them and asked each individual one what they wanted to be when they were older, knowing full well these three wanted to be footballers, but I was taking interest in everybody else as well. And one said an astronaut, and I thought, yeah, well, you carry on, mate. Until somebody says you can't be an astronaut, you carry on. So they were all saying joiners, one farmer, electrician, and the three lads footballers. And I said, but you've said you were. I made the teachers turn round, and I asked them to show of hands who drank at a weekend. So I got the teachers. So there was 3 teachers or 2 at that point. No, there was 2 at that point. No, there wasn't. There was just 1. So the teacher turned around just so that the kids felt easier, and I said, like, put your hand up. Who drinks at a weekend? 90% of them put their hand up, including these 3 lads who were on the books of these football clubs. So I kept that to myself, and when I went round and I said, right, well, who's doing everything that they can possible to achieve what they want to be when they're older? And the 3 lads, I went to one of the lads and I said, well, but hang on, I did the same for smoking as well. I asked them the same on smoking, and 2 of the 3 lads put their hand up for smoking. I said, but you're saying that you're doing everything you can to be able to put yourself in the best position to achieve your goal. I said, but then you've just put your hand up for getting pissed up downtown on a Friday, Saturday night, and you're also smoking as well. So I hate to shatter your dream, but you're not going to make your dreams come true, because there's too much money involved now. There's too much to lose, and there's too much money for people, clubs, to go and buy, rather than waste money on 3 kids from Ellesmere Port who drink and smoke. And it's things like that you've got to be brutally honest about, because I think it's only right. And I may have shattered their dreams, but they probably knew it themselves, just nobody had told them. Everybody had told them at school, like the teachers were telling me, oh, these lads are brilliant at football. It doesn't matter. You can be brilliant at football on a school field. It's not where it counts. It's not going to make you a living playing football on a school field covered in dog shite. But so, you know, sometimes we need. My point is, sometimes we need some home truths. Sometimes we need people to tell us how bad we are from the outside looking in. Hi Stu, hi Kathy, hey Richie, hi Scott and Cara. Hope you had a nice holiday, or if you're still there, I'm not sure. Not seen any pictures for a while. So yeah, any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap this up? There's Tony. You're right, Ginge. You're right, Steve. But yeah, so if anybody has any fears or questions or fears, when I say fears, I mean fears for family members or friends, or just wants to ask for information or guidance on the subject of alcoholism, or, you know, to a certain extent, well, just substance abuse in general, really. I mean, I personally, alcohol was my weapon of choice, but obviously it's like there's Gamblers Anonymous. I can't say it. There's Gamblers Anonymous. There's, I can't remember what the drugs one is. It's got a name, Amphetamine Anonymous or something like that. But they are located all over the country. It's just a matter of going on the associated websites and finding each one, and it's got names, addresses, it's got contact numbers. So if you know, if you're finding out information for a friend or a family member, and you go steaming to them and say, look, I've got you this number, ring it, and it's like Alcoholics Anonymous or Amphetamines Anonymous or something like that, they're going to be mightily pissed off with you, you've got to approach the subject so caringly, so gently, because they ain't gonna thank you for it at first until they've been honest with themselves and actually asked for help. They ain't gonna thank you for approaching them about the subject. It'll be a case of them telling you to fucking mind your own business and do one, because you're stopping them from doing what their mind is telling them their body needs. It's gonna, you know, if you do that, if you go into their safe zone, their barrier, you're gonna get abused to high heaven, and you're not gonna like it. And I know I've done it. I know what the feeling is. Hi, Cal. Hi, Michelle. Hi, John. Hey, Pete. I know what the feeling's like, and I wouldn't wish anybody to have that feeling. Being fantastic. Thanks, Kenny. Right, so what we're on? We're on an hour and 51 minutes, so we'll have another couple of minutes. Anybody got any other questions? Like I say, I am available if you want to message me privately. I can, if you need help, advice, I can point you in the right direction. This book that I mentioned that I read on a daily basis, this is like my Bible. Not religious at all, but this sets me up right for the day. It's like my little bit of sort of yoga time, if you like. But I read that every morning, and some passages can't relate to whatsoever. But then I could read it again and pick something out of it that has happened or I can relate to, and it's available on Amazon, that book, because there was about 10 people who have been in tonight who have asked me about the book, because I've had it on me, posted it before, and some people have asked me about it, and I've let them know, and I know that it's for sale on Amazon. I'm not sure the price on Amazon. I don't know, because this was a gift for me, so and it's a cracking gift. But yeah, no worries, Anna. Thank you for participating as well. Thanks for helping Sarah. But it's better to be honest, isn't it? So I think. How old is what's that? It will make them want to do it more. Chris, I agree, mate. Yeah, I agree. It's like the rebellion. It's like the immaturity child not getting our own way, spitting our tongue out type of scenario. You know, we don't like to be told what to do, and if you're intoxicated and someone's nagging you and not allowing you to do what you want to do, you're gonna just do it more, aren't you? Because you're not bothered about other people's feelings. You're just more concerned about yourself. How old is that wallpaper, mate? Wallpaper. Oh, this one. It's about 4 years old. It's due to be done soon, I think. Mrs. keeps going on. I'm not a wallpaper, mate. But yeah, I think it's about 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, don't ask me where it's from. I haven't got a clue. It might be Laura Ashley or something like that. Sounds familiar. Don't know. Don't care. Looks nice though. I'm not a furnishing type, Chris. As long as I've got a bed to put my head down in, that'll do me, mate. What's that? Leave him alone. His mum picked it. No, my missus, the old wife, picked that, mate. Why do you think it's old-fashioned? I don't know. So, not asked. All right, you two. You can leave now. Right, so, okay. Well, thanks for everyone participating. Hey, Jonas, you all right? Hi, Joe. I think we're going to call it a day there, guys. It's been an hour and 55 minutes exactly. So, again, anybody got any questions or queries, feel free to message me directly. I'll help as much as I can. Thanks, Sarah, for your support. Chris taking the piss, and Kenny. What's that? I was back years ago. Yeah, like me, mate. Yeah, but right. So I won't mind any feedback you've got, any comments later on. Not so much now. I don't mind doing this again. I'm here for everyone. But yeah, so thanks for everyone for participating. Anna, thanks for your help. Appreciate that. And we shall do it next time. So we had 42 in here at one point. There's 9 now. But yeah, no, brilliant. Thanks everybody for being here for so long. It's a good amount of time, and thanks for your cooperation and your patience. I'd say first time doing it on screen, so bit new to it, all this technology lark. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.